starting man-to-man. But there were times I had to get him man-to-man. And
favorite team that you guys love to face in your division?
Yours.
Yes, sir.
Like the games like we play against the Raiders, you might get 3 sacks when they had Demarcus Russell, which I did. So I got 3 sacks on them. I got 3 sacks on them in the first half, right?
Yeah.
And I'm ready, and they take Tommy Maddox.
What is going on, everyone? We are live in the JBW Solutions studio for our December 9th show. We're doing some review of this previous weekend's action between the Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, Eagles, and the Chiefs. Hell yeah. But first, let's give some shout outs to some sponsors. Thank you again to Troy and his guys over at Field OpKansas, Angie and her team at Emporia State Federal Credit Union, the War Room's banking of choice. And then JBW Solution Studios, Jeff and his team. Thanks again, guys, because they are the sponsor of the studio. And we have a new sponsor to announce. Caleb, go for it.
Yeah, so we have now received sponsorship from Rival Codes. They make all kinds of apparel that has codes of your respective team versus your rival's respective code. Super cool stuff. We're excited. They have a 10% discount code. It's Rivals 10, I believe is what it is. I'll verify that. But Rivals 10 when checking out, we can put a link in the comments or something here in a few minutes.
Yep.
But
perfect. I'm excited for it. I know you were pretty excited. You had been working on it, and you had shot us a text this morning to let us know that you had kind of wrapped it up with those guys. So welcome aboard to those guys, Rival Codes. We'll get the link and the discount code here shortly. Let's do a roll call real quick. As you see, we're a man down tonight. Cody is a big day tomorrow. He's getting ready to open up a new hotel. So that's kind of where he's been the last couple of weeks. He's been kind of hit or miss, but tomorrow is actually a really, really big day for Cody. So we wish him the best, and we know he'll be tuning in here shortly to watch. So Cody, thank you. So let's go ahead and get going. Let's start with first place first. Go ahead, Matt.
I am Matt with Broncos Country, representing first place Broncos Country, might I add.
In second place.
Yeah, I'm Caleb representing Bolt Fam.
Hell yeah. Second to last place.
Awesome. Second to last place, Chiefs.
Oh, man. I am so, I don't know. I've been in such a great mood. I don't know what it is, Matt. It could just be, Broncos continue to find ways to win. The Chiefs just can't seem to figure it out right now. And I don't know. It's just this could be a good episode today. So let's kind of start this one off with our icebreaker question of the night. I kind of wanted to know, there's one stadium that you get to pick, any sport. Where are you going? Go.
Wrigley Field.
You've already been to Wrigley.
I know. I want to go back.
Okay, go back. Caleb.
I'll say Lambeau. I'd love to go to Lambeau.
It's Packer Hate Week. Boo. Matt.
Gotta go back to my roots, man. Send me to Fenway.
Oh, yeah. Fenway.
Yeah, I think it would be Fenway or either the Big House or the Shoe. One of those. I mean, there's a lot of places, but if I have to narrow it down, it's obviously going to be Fenway just because of history there. So
PNC Park, if I have to pick.
Allen Fieldhouse. Great spot.
In there. It's beautiful. I do encourage everybody, if you get a chance and like college basketball, and even if you don't like college basketball, I would encourage everyone to at least take one game in Allen Fieldhouse. I believe our cousin is taking his son to the Allen Fieldhouse next week. I think they're playing Townsend, so that's his first game there. So I know he'll be excited for that. All right, guys, that was our icebreaker question. I'm just going to guess Cody would go out and say anywhere that the Raiders aren't playing. So let's go ahead and start with this rundown, the AFC West rundown. We'll start with the Broncos Raiders. We'll do a quick little review here. The first bullet point here is the Raiders have no life, basically. I don't know. I think the misconception of this game is going to be the score. Actually, the game wasn't as close as the score shows. I know it was 24-17, but the Broncos kind of controlled everything in that game. Matt, do you kind of want to give your breakdown of what your thoughts are on that?
Yeah, I mean, First off, I mean, again, I'm just happy that the Broncos, and you and I kind of hopped on live yesterday and we talked about it. They stuck with the run game.
Yep.
And that's something that we've been begging for all season is like, stick with the run game. Because plenty of times we've seen just, the run game is doing well. And then all of a sudden there's a stop for a loss, or maybe it's a 1 to 2 yard gain. And then Sean Payton will just like, that's all right, cool. Run game's done. And we won't see it for a full quarter. And so like maybe the last like 8 minutes of the quarter or the fourth quarter. So the fact that he stuck with the run game and they were very productive. RJ Harvey, I mean, he fought for all 74 of those yards.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the kind of tough running we've been asking for. Someone who just doesn't go down after the first contact. He's going to carry the pile, and he did that, plenty of times, even with Max Crosby on him, and that's not an easy task to do. And I will tip my hat to Max Crosby, who, he had 2 tackles for a loss against the Broncos last week, so that was a career high for him for 24 tackles for loss, and the Raiders are 3rd in the league in that department. Was that the 6'7" thing? Oh God, you're not welcome in this chat anymore.
Oh, that's not true. You stay in here.
That's
No.
awesome. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you make me lose my train of thought with that nonsense. Continuing on though, yeah, I was happy with the run game. But most of all, I was happy with Nix because the Raiders did a good job. I think they did a very good job keeping Nix in the pocket because they know he excels outside of it. And Nix adjusted. He stayed confident. He stepped up. He moved the pocket around when he needed to. There was that one play where he looked a little indecisive, where he could have ran it in for a touchdown and just elected to throw it, and it was incomplete. But it's like, I need you to stay a little bit more decisive there. But, I mean, yeah, 210 yards isn't much to write home about, but 31 for 38 to complete 31 passes in the NFL is still, like Cody Rourke said, that's tough to do, and he did it. So, all in all, I'm happy with the way this team performed.
Yeah, I'll give my quick thoughts on this because you kind of took basically what I was going to say. No, you're good, and that's perfectly fine because we were kind of on the same wavelength because we talked about it on the live on TikTok about Bo Nix, and each of the last 2 weeks he's looked more confident, more comfortable in the pocket, moving with the pocket, actually setting his feet. There for a little bit a few weeks ago we were talking about happy feet and just tell him slow the hell down. So now I feel like he's starting to get into that rhythm, in that mold. And this is the time last year where we kind of saw the offense take, that next step. We were winning games that we needed to win to get into the postseason. But the last thought here real quick is now the Broncos control their own destiny for this number 1 seed. And we talked last night, Matt, that we didn't think this was even this is just wild to us.
Yeah.
I know we thought the Chiefs may have a step back, but I think the downfall and the big step that they've actually fallen is kind of surprising to some. And I am one of those. I thought the Chiefs would put up a little bit more of a fight. And, right now this division is just kind of right there for Denver. And we talked last night a lot about, hey, you're going to have to win these games that you're supposed to win. And the Raiders is one of those games. So the Broncos, again, they're in the driver's seat. They now have the tiebreaker over New England since New England couldn't beat the Raiders. That's weird to say, the Raiders of all teams. So let's kind of dive into the next one. And this was a weird game last night, Caleb. Kind of give us your thoughts on the Monday Night Football game.
Yeah, so I've had a couple hours to think on this, but I think the way I love it. Eagles and Raiders do suck. Mike, thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for joining. That's awesome. But I hated the way they kind of hung Justin out there to dry a little bit. I mean, he was our leading rusher. He essentially offensively carried us. I mean, he's got a broke hand. You don't run the ball effectively. You're not running the ball effectively. And then you go away from it and force him to throw. When he's been sacked 7 times, he got sacked 7 times while injured. I get it. We won, but we cannot do that going forward. We play the Texans in a few weeks and we play the Broncos. You're going to get him seriously injured at this rate. But overall, I'm super excited about how we played, how we finished the game. Our defense was incredible. I'm hoping that's who Austin talks about in a little bit, but we'll see. Probably not. It's probably not, but I was really more impressed with our defense. And overall, what are the Eagles doing? Saquon had 160 something rushing yards on like 19 carries or something like that. And then at the end of the game, they decided to throw the ball with 2 minutes left instead of running the ball and forcing us to use timeouts, that kind of thing, running the clock out, kicking the potential game-winning field goal. Just really poor management on the Eagles side. I love it for my Chargers, but overall I wasn't that impressed with the Eagles considering how banged up and injured we were offensively, and we were still able to pull the game out. But overall, this win is huge for us, and I think this is a good momentum boost going into Chiefs week. But overall, I'm excited. I hate the way they used Justin Herbert this week. I don't think they used him correctly. He rushed for 75 yards or whatever. I think they should have ran the ball more, and I don't know. They should have had a better game plan going into this week, knowing that this will probably happen. I mean, this is what I thought would happen probably all week, and it did. But I'm excited. I'm excited heading into Chiefs week. This was a great win. Justin didn't get more seriously injured, thank goodness. I don't know how. That's a miracle, but yeah, that's about all I got. Or else I'll get a little too heated.
I was waiting for it, actually. I was kind of like, he's going on, he's going. Is it going to happen? And it's like,
oh, it's harder sauce.
I was almost there.
See your face kind of getting a little bit more red, and you're kind of just thinking about it a little more. No, I do agree with you, though. I don't know what the Eagles are thinking on that, because they show the one replay of that interception that Herbert threw, or not Herbert, Hurts. And I'm like, what is he looking at? There's two guys right there. Like, come on, man. And Saquon was actually, we talked about it all week. Saquon needed to get back into it, and that's what they did. So, Matt, Austin, do you guys have anything on last night's game? I know you did a live, and you're super excited and thrilled about it.
It just wasn't a good game. Kudos to the Chargers. Not all games are going to be pretty, but you have to find ways to win those. And it really was Chargers defense who won that game. I mean, Herbert was running for his life. For whatever reason, they were actually calling design quarterback runs too. I think during that, I'm like, they're really just saying, dude, we don't care about your body. We're going to run it right into the ground. Not a good game plan. Pretty wild. It worked last night, but I think at this point in the season, you have a wild card pretty damn near locked up. Protect Herbert. I know you can't do it with offensive linemen, but you sure as hell can do it with some play calling. Absolutely. That has to start now. But yeah, no, it was a boring game. I'm really glad we got free extra football for that game. Couldn't have been a more entertaining game to get some extra on, but yeah, no extra thoughts really.
Maybe they were trying to get Herbert knocked out so they could get Phillip Rivers maybe away from the Colts.
Maybe
him behind that offensive line.
Matt,
oh gosh, he'd be dead.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I kind of talked about it a little bit last night. That whole game was just a comedy of errors. 6 turnovers in the first half alone, and none more embarrassing than Jalen Hurts throwing the interception, the Chargers fumbling, Hurts recovering, and then fumbling again. Like I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. I think Hurts became like the second or the only QB to have a turnover, 2 turnovers in one play. So like that just kind of like sums up this game. It's just a comedy of errors. It was just a clown car. Both offenses were terrible. And then again, we already kind of like touched on it. Like Herbert is coming back from surgery. Why are you calling like QB draws and whatnot, putting him in the middle of contact? And you saw him a couple of times. He'd get up and he'd grab his hand. And you're like, yep, here we go. I mean, at this point, like, I think I convinced their goal is to get him to be like that villain from Hellboy, where the only thing holding him together is a spindle. Like that's ultimately what's going to happen with Herbert.
Yeah, I saw one where that 3 turnover play. I think, again, I'm not saying I agree that this comment was right, but it made me laugh where it said the NFL script writers were really in their bag on that one. I'm not saying I think it's rigged or scripted or anything, but it did make me laugh because it's like they really did go to the bag of tricks for this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of agreed how the Chargers came out early, right? Like quick passes, they were getting Hampton going. You know, he hit his first game back, so I still felt like they maybe underused Vidal a little bit, especially, you know, so that 60-yard catch kind of set a nice little tone for it. So, like, I mean, Matt and I can sit here and justify, you know, we can sit here and say that's kind of the Broncos season all along. Like, they're not going to be pretty. They're going to be ugly. And I think, Matt, we've seen about 95% of the Broncos games this year that have been pretty ugly, but you're at the point where you have to win. So now you don't have to worry about the Chiefs catching you.
Well, see, I can speak on ugly football. Every game Chiefs have had has been ugly. We've just not pulled out wins like the Chargers and Broncos are finding ways to do. But their games have been ugly.
They have. And that leads us right into the game of the weekend, right?
Nope.
Everyone else, give a round of applause to the Chiefs, guys.
For 10 cents a day, you can sponsor a Chiefs fan like Austin.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I was kind of feeling myself the other morning when I woke up and I sent that text saying, "How about those Chiefs?"
You never responded to.
Yeah, because I thought it was funny though. So, I mean, we can the RIP to the Dynasty. Matt, is that the end of the Dynasty, or is this just kind of a one-off season? Well, they'll be back next year.
I think they'll be back next year. I think it's just an off season. Every team goes through it. I think it's just going to be an off season.
Caleb?
Yeah, I agree with Matt. I think it's just one of those years. I think it's very similar to like the Warriors dynasty. I think we've touched on that on the show as well. But I think it's kind of like the Warriors. They're probably going to fall off for a few years, but I could definitely see them coming back up. Hopefully not. Sorry, Austin, but
no, it's
actually,
fine.
I'm not sorry.
Yes,
yeah, don't apologize for this. Here, man. No. We what do you, okay?
You take your apology back.
I take it back.
We'll
Thank you.
All right, so you're the Chiefs fan. It was kind of a rough go for you Sunday night. So kind of give us your initial thoughts. And you know, they're still technically still alive here. I mean, there's still the very, very small slimmer of hope that they went out and go 10-7, or you know, even 2-1, right, and finish 9-8. That can still squeak in. It's probably that year that you guys wish you were in the AFC North. But again, I'll hand it over to you and give us a little rundown of what your thoughts are on the game.
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. A game the defense really did step up for us. Chiefs offense did them no favors, which again, it's not surprising. But when you're having a defensive battle, the thing you can't do is have 3 turnovers. You can't go it on 4th down on your own 30. Especially when your defense had held the Texans to negative yards at that point in the second half. Like, when you're in a defensive battle, the objective is play field position. Giving it to them on the 30 is not winning the field position battle. It's not like your offense was clicking and you could feel really confident on a 4th. And don't get me wrong, it was a catchable pass. Like, that's how close that was to succeeding. But again, it's not like your offense should have made you believe too much. And going for it in that situation. But at the end of the day, the Chiefs defense stepped up. There was some more unfortunate injuries that came, but got some people, some snaps that, you know, we have some tape on now going into, you know, the remainder of the season and into next. But yeah, it was just all around ugly from the offense. I was okay with how the defense played. I think I saw the Texans average like 2.6 yards a carry on over. They had 30-some carries as a team.
Yeah, Woody Marks didn't have he wasn't like hit 28 of those.
Yeah, so like held him to under 3 yards a carry. CJ Stroud was under 50% completion percentage. Like, the defense was getting stop after stop after stop, and the offense kept just saying like, we don't care about the defense. Figure out a way to win this for us, and they didn't. But it was rough. But to answer kind of the question that was going around, I don't think we can just say after 1 year the Chiefs dynasty's over, but I can't say with confidence until I see what happens in the offseason and stuff to say if they'll have a bounce back year. But I do think it takes more than one down year after 8 or 9 years of success to just call an end to a dynasty. So I don't think it's the end, but I can't say with confidence that they'll bounce back next year either. But even though it's not the end of the dynasty, it is the end of this season for them. I don't, even that slender of hope, this team's done nothing to make you believe. They did a little bit in the Colts game that thought we might end strong, and they made sure to shut that down real quick the following weeks. So it is what it is. It's been a fun 8-9 years with Patrick. We'll take an off year and hope we do bounce back next year. But as far as the Sunday night game goes, it was very disappointing, to say nicely.
Yeah, I think there was a couple moments where we kind of saw Chris Jones kind of take that game over himself. He was getting the pressures up the middle. He was putting some pressure on C.J. Stroud. And then, before you know it, I mean, the defense continuously kept getting the big stops. And you get the offense back out on the field, and you're sitting here wondering, when is this going to be the drive? Is this going to be the drive? Is this going to be the drive? And I think every single time, no, it in fact wasn't the drive. It's weird. I will say I was real impressed with Essa Poles. He did really, really well, especially, his first start up against that defensive line. And I think I saw he allowed 0 pressures. So, hey, the Chiefs may have found something in there. So not all things are bad, but I mean, at the end of the day, between the Chiefs and the Chargers and the offensive linemen, I don't know what you guys are trying to compete for. But that's not the one I would kind of select that I would want to compete with, as far as who can get the tackles and who can make shift the offensive line a little bit better. But Matt, there's a comment over here, and we kind of touched on this last night on the live. I don't think we talked about this being the Chiefs. We actually talked about it reverse, and with it being the Chargers. If that came down to if the Broncos decided to rest the players and not play anybody, because if Bo Nix was sitting at that 14-2 record with one more win to break the record for most wins in his first 2 seasons, would we sit the starters and give the Chargers a win? But I don't see us gifting the Chiefs anything on Christmas, at least for my sanity. I hope not. I'd like to kind of see the Broncos continue to stay hot and the Chiefs kind of, continue to fall. But what are your guys' actual thoughts on sitting players if that comes to it?
I'll let you go first.
So I think if regardless win or lose, you're not going to move anywhere. I understand resting at that point, but if you were fighting for any kind of seed, I think they should play. The only reason I say I agree with the resting at that point. So a couple years ago, matter of fact, when we had that horrible Jaguars loss, the original horrible Jaguars loss, the game before, I can't remember who we were playing. It might have been Denver, actually. We played Mike Williams, and like the third play of the game, he broke his back. Oh, not even joking.
Yeah.
Like third play of the game, it was kind of a meaningless game at that point. We had the wild card locked up, and that seed of the wild card locked up. We weren't going to go down or up, and we played him and broke his back. So I can understand it from that point of view, but from a fan's perspective, I always want to see him play. If I'm buying tickets, I want to see him play. But
yeah, Matt.
Yeah, you and I talked about last night. We brought up that stat. Bo Nix right now, he's on pace. If they went out, he would break Russell Wilson's record for most wins by a QB in their second year. Russ has 24. If Bo Nix wins out, he would have 25. So then it gets to the point where, like, how important is that record to you? For me, and yeah, exactly. I think we're all in agreement. It's like, it's not, I would take the number 1 seed overall, have a bye week over a record any day of the week. Like records, like you're a young QB, there will be plenty of time. If you can stay healthy, there's plenty of time for you to set and break records. But, I think we could see if everything works out in Denver's favor and they clench early enough and they have the number 1 overall seed no matter what, because they do own the tiebreaker over the Patriots, you could see like what we saw in the Chiefs last year. And Austin, you can attest to this as well. Like by I think the second week, they were resting their starters. There was 2 weeks left in the season and the Chiefs starters had 3 weeks of rest because there was no point. Whether we win or lose, we already locked up the 1 seed. There's no benefit to winning the rest of these games. So I want my team healthy. I want them at their best for the playoffs because we got some tough teams. And we still have tough teams in the playoffs. Jacksonville's come out of nowhere. The Patriots have come out of nowhere. I think, honestly, the weakest team in the playoffs right now is the Steelers. But all these other teams in right now are tough. And they could easily, like, if Denver gets complacent, they could knock them out and they could be another one and done. So, yeah, I mean, me personally, I would just rest my start. If I lock up the 1 seed, I'm resting my starters. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would just rest my starters for the simple. I mean, like Caleb said, if you're playing for no seeding, like win or lose, you're not moving, then I'm resting my starters. But I kind of go on the flip side of why I like that. And that's because I like seeing some of the depth people get some meaningful snaps. We've seen specifically with the Chiefs, but with some injuries, we're going to want these dudes to get some meaningful snaps. Because typically, if you're resting your starters, your opposing team isn't necessarily resting theirs. So now your depth pieces are getting quality regular season reps against other teams' number ones going into the playoffs. So I think it's you get multiple benefits of your starters aren't going to get hurt. And now your depth is getting some quality reps because they're not even usually getting first team reps, right? They might that week because you're sitting the starters, but now you're actually getting game time reps, and that matters. You never know when they're going to need to be called upon specifically in the playoffs. So, and then me as a fan, I just like seeing the extras play, right? Like, you want to know what you have a little bit. Yes, you're getting ready for the playoffs, but I kind of want to know what the rest of the roster looks like kind of heading into the off season after the playoffs and everything. Kind of you have some film on tape. You kind of have a little excitement brewing for maybe a player you hadn't known. I know it's not because of Chiefs resting players, but like, I think there's some real excitement around that Issa Poles guy.
Yeah.
Whether he'll be a starter or not, but like you kind of got to think he just locked himself a roster spot for sure. Absolutely. And so I think it's things like that where if you're not playing for seeding one way or the other, I don't see a reason why you would play them in a meaningless game. You're not moving up. You're not moving down. Don't play.
Cody, give us your thoughts. Oh, wait, the Raiders would never be in that position to have to sit there.
Let me ask you Bronco fans something real quick, though. If that record is important, and I don't know if there's a limit of snaps, but would you let them go out there and just take the first play, do a handoff, and then put your backup in so he, quote unquote, gets the start?
Well, I think they did that with Brett Favre when he was up for, I think, his consecutive starts or whatever. They just put him out there. He took a snap, handed it off, and then they took him out. Yes, I would be okay with that. But again, at the end of the day, I'd rather Bo Nix win a Super Bowl in his second year.
Yes.
Than I don't care about the wins record and what Russell Wilson did. I'd be a lot cooler to sit here and say, hey, guess what, guys? I won a Super Bowl my second year. In my second year, and we were able to dethrone the Chiefs.
Nah.
But I think it'd be even better to say that the AFC West back-to-back, all these, Chiefs Super Bowls, and then you go into a Broncos Super Bowl. Obviously, the Eagles won last year, but the Chiefs have obviously kind of ran shop in the AFC West or the AFC.
Yeah,
I would be okay with Broncos taking that reign. Matt?
Yeah, same. I'd be okay with him, maybe like a snap or two, just so he can kind of get credit for it. But no, what's more important to me is, like Corey said, I'd rather Bo Nix wins a title in his second year have that under his belt rather than he breaks Russell Wilson's record. He's already
a meaningless record, right? Like, is this record you like hang up your mantle?
I had never heard of it,
right? And it'd be one thing, obviously it's his second year, so he's not even remotely close. But say he, 11, 12 years down the road, and he's 2 touchdown passes away from breaking Tom Brady's touchdown record and passing Peyton Manning. Sure, hey,
those are different, yeah,
that's different because that actually those are the things that are
accolade.
Legendary. Yeah, that's an accolade. Yes. Most wins in your second year, pardon my French, who gives a shit?
No, you're absolutely right. He's already in good company. Even if he were to, finish with 23 or 24 wins his first 2 seasons, he's already in good company with what he's doing. He's already setting Broncos, record marks just based on what he's been able to do So again, I think he would even sit here and tell you, I would much rather give me a Lombardi 10 times out of 10 over, most wins in a season, first 2 seasons. So I was kind of curious on everyone's thought, but Matt and I had a good discussion on that last night. So it was good to see kind of what your guys' perspective was on that. So that'll do for the AFC West roundup. Let's go to the Seggies. So with that, I know it was a down weekend for you. I get it. You're sad. You're
None of this is true.
You were moping around all weekend. You were
also not
you were sad.
I was more sad my bets didn't hit.
Well, there was a couple that were really close too. So
yeah.
Anyways, Austin's aerial attack for week 14. Who was the defense you're taking?
Caleb, I'm sorry. I really do want to pick the Chargers, but I've mentioned previous on this show, if any defense gets a shutout in the NFL, that has to be the choice. Just because it's a tough thing to do, no matter who the opponent is. So the Vikings shutting out the Commanders, who not too long ago looked like a pretty okay offense against Denver. That just goes to show how up and down it is each week. But you shut out an offense, no matter what. You had a good defensive game. Van Ginkel had a nice interception. Harrison Smith had a nice interception, and they just honestly dominated that game. Rough week for the Commanders. You even made J.J. McCarthy look like kind of a quality NFL quarterback, which that's hard to do, to make him look like that. But as far as defenses go, I'm also choosing the Vikings a little bit because I was really high on the Vikings coming into the year, specifically for their defense. So this might be the one chance I'm going to have to give them some flowers. But they really did dominate that game. Half that game or so was against Jaden Daniels. Terry McLaurin was there. Like, they had their guys. So kudos to the Vikings defense. They really set the tone that game. They shut out an NFL offense. So if you do that, you're going to get my aerial attack for the week.
Yeah, bad move on the Commanders' part, because on that Van Ginkel interception, Daniels got absolutely blasted and landed right on that arm. And we obviously didn't see him come back in the rest of the game. So,
fun fact, the guy who blocked him is my friend on X.
Well, there you
Fun
go.
fact.
There you go.
Little nuggy in the seggy.
Yeah. Addy, do you agree, or are you going with someone else?
No, I'm taking that too, because like you said, just a week ago, they really put up a fight against Denver, and Denver has a significantly better defense than Minnesota does. So. And they had Jaden Daniels back for a time. And, again, it sucks about Zach Ertz with the torn ACL, I believe it was. So hate to see that. But, like a week ago, the Commanders put up 26 points against at the time, they were the number 3 defense. And now you got a big old goose egg to the number 9 defense. So, yeah, no, kudos to the Vikings. At the end of the day, it's still an NFL team, no matter how bad their record is. And I think we all agree that the Commanders, their record is bad, but it doesn't reflect who that team is. And they're still a good team. They have the talent there. But shutting anyone out in the NFL is not an easy task to do. So my flowers are to the Vikings as well.
And Lake Lewis Jr. even said the same thing, that's their record's not indicative of what those guys are doing in the locker room and how the team feels about where they're at. Getting shut out, though, I don't know if that necessarily changes it, but losing your quarterback, and again, you got to shut this dude down. I get you want him to get reps, and reps are everything, but you can't get reps if you're hurt all the time. Like, just chalk it up. You're 3-10. Get healthy in the offseason, come back next year and do your thing. Caleb, over to you. Do you agree, or are you going with someone else?
Yeah, I agree. The only other one would be the Texans.
Oh.
I thought they played overall. I thought they played pretty well. I would take my team too, but if I'm being completely unbiased, the Texans have to be up there too. That's my
Chiefs defense did better than the Texans defense. Chiefs had more yards, had a better running attack, had less turnovers.
How many picks was it though?
Who gave up more points?
Chiefs offense gave up those 4.
Has anyone checked on Rashid Rice? By the way.
Oh, dude. No kidding.
He got absolutely trucked. And the dude looked all funny because he had the little Guardian helmet on, so he was just like, He's just running through here, but then again, I'm not gonna. He's just player safety, so the guardian caps are okay. I just thought it looked funny seeing the guy with the big helmet.
I call them the Mars Attacks helmets. They look like the aliens from Mars Attacks.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to be honest, that was a good, clean football hit. There's nothing.
Absolutely.
Saw some people complaining about how dirty of a hit that was, and I'm like, you clearly never watched like Brian Dawkins and like Sean Taylor and like the John Lynch era, because like, yes, this was a hard hit, but this was just a normal form tackle, early 2000s. Like, this was just a good hit.
Yeah.
So don't complain about that being a bad hit.
Yeah. Caleb, we are going into Caleb's counter strike for week 14. Who was all hype, no bite. Why was it the Chiefs? I'm just kidding.
No, so actually, I was actually going to say is the Commanders.
Okay.
The reason I say that, they came off of the obviously a tough fight against the Broncos, but overall, like Jaden Daniels is back, Terry McLaurin. At this point, they just need to wrap it up. I mean, Jaden Daniels does not need to be in the game. I don't know why they decided to play him anyways. I mean, their season's basically over at this point. And I don't know why they continue to try to get this guy killed. You know, like I've seen my quarterback get, destroyed for year on end, like over and over. And I don't want that for Jaden Daniels. Like I just don't. And overall, so they're my counter strike this week, just because like they're coming off in a tough fight against potentially the best team in the NFL. And
his government name, RG4.
RG4, I love it.
We're laughing, but
you can stay in the chat, Brendan. You can stay in the chat now.
Absolutely.
You redeemed yourself. Oh my God.
That's awesome. That's awesome. No, I just like overall, I don't know what they're thinking. Like, do they want him to play longer than this season? Like, what are you doing? Overall, they're my counter strike just because of how good of a performance I thought they had against the Broncos. They had basically the complete opposite against the Vikings, which I don't know. I don't understand it, but yeah. And then mainly the Jaden Daniels thing just kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Because you're kind of going through it with your quarterback, right? And that's you're like now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and does anyone have anything to add to that?
Not that one. I would have a different counter.
The same.
Okay, let's start with first place.
Oh, give me a cookie.
First place always.
So for me, it's actually going to be the Bengals. And the reason I say that, because again, they came off that big win against the Ravens, and then now you have another division opponent against the Steelers, and you have T. Higgins back. And I expected them to at least, win by 2 scores. But I mean, like, what is going on there? I'm surprised that Zach Taylor is still a coach at this point. It's the same thing with the Browns. Like, what is keeping you from? What more do they have to lose to say, like, thank you for your time, wish you the best, we're heading in different direction? Like, it's not us, it's you. It's me, it's you. It just, what is going on with that team? Joe Burrow's back. T. Higgins was back. There's no reason the Bengals should have lost that game. The way they lost too. So like this, I gotta say the Bengals are my counter strike.
It was basically back-to-back throws. One was a pick six, right? Mm-hmm. And then the next throw was basically another interception.
It was
and then T. Higgins had 3 concussions in like 4 drives.
It was hard to watch.
So, and then to kind of go on the Browns, tell me you're tanking with how you played that final possession, essentially.
Oh, that 2-point conversion too.
Like Shedeur Sanders was absolutely just throwing dimes and darts all over the field, and you score a touchdown, and you're like, I need you out. We're going Wildcat. Like, Stefanski, get out. But that was actually going to be my crossfire tonight, but I switched it up last minute. So you are up on yours.
Well, I thought Matt would take one, so I guess I'll quickly say my 2 because they need to be pointed out. Eagles. At this point, you're an embarrassment. I don't understand it. No, Saquon has under 20 carries and he's getting a lot of yards, and you're just going to continuously let Jalen Hurts turn the ball over. I don't get it. At this point, you're broken. There's no Easter Bunny that's going to save your season. You'll make the playoffs given your poverty division, but at the end of the day, yes, they might flip a switch in the playoffs, but as we've seen with the Chiefs, it's not easy to just flip a switch on and off. Something's broken there. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator. I don't know if it's Nick Sirianni, whatever. They're an embarrassment. My other one, the Ravens. You lost that game, and I'm still sitting here thinking you're a better team than the Steelers.
Absolutely.
And I think that was a home game for the Ravens.
It was, and I'll say that was a touchdown, man.
That's a tough game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but either way, but you still lost.
Yeah.
Don't leave it up to that one play,
That's
although
true.
it is a
Oh,
touchdown.
yeah, I agree.
It's a pretty big play.
That was a pretty big moment of the game, but
Yeah, but hey, I still feel like you should have easily won that game. You're the better team. Well, I guess you lost. You're not, but the Ravens really had a chance to take control of an otherwise bad division, and they didn't at home against a division rival. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with some of these teams, Chiefs included, but I'm not ready to say coaches need firing on these teams, but some actual big time changes need to happen. And
the got clock.
the got clock. Yeah. All right, Brian. Yeah, spot on. But yeah, no, and the Steelers can still choke that division away. But as far as this week goes, the Ravens had a prime opportunity to grab hold with the Bengals losing a home game against an otherwise pretty bad team too. And you just, all hype, no bite. So for me, it was the Eagles and Ravens this week.
Yeah. And we're not going to dive too much into it, but it is going to be a part of our league recon. So I actually think that was a pretty good counter-strike there for each of you guys. So let's move on. We're going to my crossfire. I'm actually going to put Shane Steichen in there. I'm actually kind of bummed about Daniel Jones getting hurt because he's already coming into the game hurt. The weather conditions weren't very good to begin with. I really do think this was an overcompensation on one of his legs.
Yeah.
And that could have been prevented. We talked about, you needed a win, but at what cost? His Achilles. I disagree with how that whole situation played out. I'm not a Shane Steichen fan at all. And I don't like how they handle Daniel Jones. If I'm Daniel Jones, I want no part of the Colts organization anymore. I'm going to rehab, and I'm going to, he's unfortunately not going to get his payday that he was well on his way to getting. And it's unfortunate just because of some negligence by a coach who, I get it. It's about wins and losses, but let's look at the situation. Dude has a bad leg. It's the rain's coming down. The field conditions is slippery. And when the play happened, I thought his leg just gave out. Well, it did. His Achilles literally snapped. So Shane Steichen's not it. I'm not a fan of that. And I know now you're going to bring in Phillip Rivers. We have brought in Phillip Rivers to your practice squad. That's the Colts are melting down right now, and they're a joke. They're an absolute joke. And I have nothing much more to say about how the Colts are, and I really do hope the Jaguars and Texans knock them out. So
no, I agree. I'm going to go a little bit with it. I agree. I do think this was an overcompensation injury. Whether it's Shane Steichen or that training staff, something should have been done. But I do want to say, us as a panel of hosts, we kind of called it when they made the Sauce Gardner trade. We thought they were jumping the gun. I'm not going to say this is karma for doing a trade like that, but at the end of the day, now that Daniel Jones is, even if he wants to re-up with the Colts, he's not going to play for most of, if not all, next year.
Yep.
So now you're down some first-round picks. So now you're not even going to have a chance to grab a nice young quarterback early on anyway, right? You kind of dug yourself a hole. The whole court, and I mentioned they weren't going to make the playoffs a long time ago, but all of us, we were scratching our heads at the Sauce Gardner trade just for what they gave up. So I think we're kind of seeing that kind of the domino effect, right? Everyone took that trade and thought that was them catapulting, but we all saw it as that was a little much. And now we're just kind of seeing the domino effect of like bad thing after bad thing for the Colts. And I think that was just the beginning of the domino effect. But yeah, I don't like anything the Colts have done basically since that trade. I don't like the trade. I don't like how they handled Daniel Jones. They're down 3 quarterbacks now, so clearly you have more issues than you probably think. I mean, 3 quarterbacks getting hurt. I mean, that's even a lot if you're looking at the Chargers, and they're the kings of injuries. So, yeah, I don't like what's going on there. I don't like how some of these things have been handled. I don't like some of the moves that they're being made. Yes, they're still technically sitting in a playoff race, but they won't be much longer.
Matty?
Yeah, I was actually going to put both the Browns and the Colts in there. And again, like Austin said, your quarterback was already hurt to begin with. I felt like he had no business playing at all. Daniel Jones obviously shown that he meshes well with that offense. He does well in your offense. So why do him a disservice and put him in a position where he could further injure himself or, again, have another, I guess you can say unrelated injury to it, but like, why put him in that position? What was the logic behind it where you thought this is okay and this is safe to do? Me being kind of a medical provider, those of you watching, I am in the Navy. My job is a corpsman. We take care of Marines. And one of the things we always take an oath to is like, we don't want to willingly cause or like knowingly put someone in a position where they can hurt themselves or re-injure themselves. So that's like medical 101. So who made that call and said, yep, he can get out there and play this full contact sport and do that? So yeah, that's definitely in there. And then, Corey, you already touched on it with the Browns. Stefanski, like, why? Has anyone, raise your hand if you've ever seen anyone like, all right, game on the line, we just scored, let's pull our starting quarterback out. Raise your hand if you've ever seen that, because I'm going to be honest, I've never seen that before.
Well, I have now.
Again, I guess now we've all seen it, but like, why? What is the logic behind it? I always thought, like, again, like people are going to keep saying, take the Browns to the Super Bowl because this is the product on the field. They may as well be a team that goes in the wrong Super Bowl. And it's because of situations like this. What is going on here? What is your logic? And I get it. I was never a Shadur Sanders fan either, but he's shown he can play. He can lead that team. The team is playing better with him at the helm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
What more does he, like we said, what more does a head coach need to do for you to be like, yeah, you're not the guy anymore? What more does Shadur need to do to prove that he's the guy for the Browns? So, I mean, they're in my crossfire.
And I honestly thought this last call out by Myles Garrett was it for Stefanski. There's been multiple instances now where your franchise player, he's basically the king of Cleveland. He's calling the coach out again. Not sure what he's doing on that 2-point conversion. I don't know. You have to talk to the coach.
I don't think he knew what he was doing.
I don't know why the starting quarterback's pulled out after throwing for 365 yards and leading a potential, game-tying drive, game-winning drive. He clearly outplayed Cam Ward, but that's not fair to Cam Ward either. I saw a bunch of arguments about Cam Ward. That's not fair for Cam Ward. That's a different story.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, your star player has called your coach out multiple times, and he's still employed. I mean, I get it. Maybe there's no benefit to firing him right now because what's an interim going to do other than maybe win games, and then you got to pull the tag, like then the interim curse and all that. So, yeah, man, I'm confused. But again, I think we talked all preseason and offseason leading up that the Browns were kind of the Browns. And I think we've mentioned multiple times with Carl Pickens on the show with, making fun of the Browns. So
I do think, and it's weird to say, I do start to see a little bit of a foundation forming in Cleveland on both sides of the ball. So at the end of the season, I do think it's time to get a coaching staff in there who can do something with it. Because Stefanski, like the Browns' defensive foundation has been there and he's done nothing with it. But now you're starting to get some pieces on offense between Njoku and Harold Fannin, Judkins, even their backups with like Sampson and Ford. Like they got a nice running back room. And Shador's proven he can sling it.
Yeah.
So I do think now that there's a foundation forming, don't mess around. Get a coaching staff in there who's competent and can do something with it, because you might have something. I'm not saying Super Bowl contenders, but a competitive team, not the laughing stock of a division or conference or league. So if he's not out at the end of the season, we're going to be laughing at the Browns continuously for a long time.
I kept going back and forth on who the worst team in football was between the Raiders, Browns, and Titans. I was, because they're all kind of being ran kind of similarly right now. And
I'm throwing the Bengals in there too.
That's a good, they've kind of,
that's how they're ran.
Yeah. So, Caleb, do you have any thoughts before we move on?
Yeah, I basically agree with your all's takes. Mine probably would have been the Browns if I had to pick one, just because of how they handled the Shadur Sanders, and then you try to run like a double reverse pass. Like, what the heck are we doing for a 2-point conversion? Like, then you got your running back throwing the ball. He forgets to pitch the ball, is what they said, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? I don't know that. I don't know how Stefanski's not out. Honestly, I think the reason he is still there is because they won a top 5 draft pick, and they know they're going to lose games when he's there. I don't know. That's my only thinking. But yeah, that's probably the only thing that I would add.
Yeah, it's sad, but I do agree that I think the foundation is forming in Cleveland. So let's get to everyone's favorite seggy, Matt's MILF report. MILF. Go for it for week 14.
All right. So for week 14, I believe I said it was going to be the Texans and the Chiefs. That was my matchup for that. And it was going to be, again, like I said, the Chiefs are, they faced 3 number ones. You faced 2 number 1 offenses, and now you have the number 1 defense. And it was very disappointing. And I don't want to say it was on Pat Mahomes. I know. Look at him, the sadness. Again, for 10 cents a day, you can sponsor a Chiefs fan like Austin. Beard Club has already donated their products. That's why he has that luscious beard. And you can join Beard Club as well. But again, I'm going to say this. Pat Mahomes did what he could. He tried to put the team on his back. He tried to make plays, all these drops. And Kelsey, like you said, that's a play that Kelsey makes 99% of the time. Well, he hasn't been making that play 99% of the time all season. And I've heard a lot of people say, like, over the weekend that Kelsey's just done. He's done. And he very well could be done after this. Did you guys see him after the game? Like, he was completely beside himself, Yep. So he's probably doing some soul searching right now. And yeah, that was my MILF report. How is the Chiefs offense going to do against the number 1 defense? They hung in there. It wasn't like they were blown out, but again, just these receivers aren't doing anyone any favors.
I wonder if he had Taylor write him a lullaby.
The reason for the teardrops in their guitar.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest, you can't be too sad going home to your billionaire fiance, though.
Right? You can just buy happiness.
Yeah, I'm sure she probably cradled him in her arms and wrote a nice little song for him. So, there's a lot of things wrong with the Chiefs. I didn't think that receiving core was going to be one. I actually was really excited about those receivers, even for like a fantasy purpose, and like what Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice once he came back. And I thought they may have kind of unlocked something with Thornton, as my brother continuously kept calling for during the suspension for Rashee Rice, and he comes back and they just quit using him. He's sparingly on the field, but they're not throwing deep to him. They're throwing out routes and curl routes to him. They're not even utilizing them how I thought they would. So yeah, I don't know. And I will say here as a Broncos fan, and I can't talk for the other 2 non-Chiefs fans here. The fire Andy Reid thing's absolutely ridiculous.
Absurd.
Please stop. Like Chiefs fans, you guys are most of your bandwagon fans that were probably Patriot fans of just about 5 years.
Do they not remember the Todd Haley and Romeo Crennel days?
But I keep seeing, well, there's fire Andy, do something. And I'm like, who are you going to get in there that's going to be better than Andy Reid right now?
No one.
It's just a bad year. Calm down, people.
I would say maybe replace the offensive coordinator. You're not going to replace Spags. Spags is fine. They just got to get a couple more depth pieces on defense. Defense is fine. They probably lose Spags to a head coaching job before they'd fire him.
We would never fire Spags.
Exactly.
They need to fire their wide receiver coach. Golly.
Apparently not teaching how to catch.
Yeah. What are they doing?
Yeah. So
Get a new jugs machine, damn it.
all you so-called Chiefs fans that are saying fire Andy Reid,
Fakies.
the fakies. You guys are some fakies.
For real.
Super fakies. Who are you guys going to root for next year? God, I hope Denver doesn't win the Super Bowl this year because we don't want you guys. I can tell you that. So
Nope. Absolutely not.
Bro, if we fire Andy Reid, you might see a crash out for me. That might be my first crash out on this episode.
I can 100% sit here and say that Andy Reid's not going to be fired.
Well, I agree, but if the Swifties have enough power, bandwagoners, have enough power. If Andy's fired, I'll be beside myself.
Yeah, we're moving. Let's move on to the league recon because that
will crash out.
That could go into a whole different dimension that we just don't want to do. So league recon. So the Hot Mess Express, that is the AFC North. Are we going to see 4 new head coaches on these teams, Matt? I know that the Steelers said that they weren't going to fire Mike Tomlin, but there's a possibility that they trade him. So do these teams have new coaches next year, or just maybe a couple?
I don't know. I don't. For some reason, I feel like Tomlin's going to get another shot in Pittsburgh. I mean, the guy's been there forever. For as long as I've been in the Navy, Mike Tomlin has been head coach of the Steelers, and he's had rough seasons before. Like, never had a losing record. I know that's like the main accolade right there, other than that Super Bowl win. But like, I don't know. I feel like they're gonna live by Tomlin. They're gonna die by Tomlin until he just decides he's done. So I don't know. Harbaugh is a different story, though. I feel like that train is done. That ship is long sailed. I feel like he's probably going to be out of a job in the offseason. I mean, this whole Ravens team right now has just been a joke. They haven't done anything. Like, playoff appearances, a couple playoff wins, but like, yeah, you're dominant in the regular season, but what are you doing in the playoffs? Right? And you know, Lamar this, Lamar that, and you went out, you get Derrick Henry. But what's the point in getting him? You don't use him. I thought they were going to give him this. I thought they were going to give him the sensu bean, and he was just going to be fully charged, and he was not. Barely utilized. And Austin always brings it up. They never use him against us. Why? Why? What is going on here? What is going on with that coaching staff? So I think you're probably going to see 3 of the 4 teams with new head coaches.
Yeah, and I get the whole Tomlin hasn't had a losing record, but at the end of the day, you got to understand that maybe the new voice is needed. We're not sitting here saying he's a bad coach. That's not at all what we're saying, but sometimes it kind of runs its course. And for a franchise that's only had 3 head coaches, that's a pretty damn good run. But at the end of the day, I mean, what's he going to do? Call it Big Ben and follow the Colts path and have Big Ben come back and we have a Phillip Rivers Big Ben rematch in the divisional round or something? I don't know, but yeah, Lamar doesn't look like he's very interested right now in Baltimore, and that could be an issue because I think once you lose Lamar, and we talked about this actually literally like a month ago about Baltimore would probably get rid of the head coach first before they got rid of Lamar, and that's just because of franchise quarterback. And I know the Ravens kind of hit that little stride of they were winning games and they got back in it, but they looked off, and Lamar looks off. And again, he's been there for a long time, and there's no harm in getting a new voice in there. I do think. I think the Browns and the Bengals for sure. I'm 50-50 on Harbaugh, and I don't know if they actually trade Tomlin. I think that's still kind of up in the air as well. So, Caleb, your thoughts on the AFC North coaches?
So, who do I think 3 of them should be fired? I think only 1 will get fired.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm being real, the only reason I say that is so Zach Taylor. I think the way they've structured his team as far as the GM goes, I feel like that's more on the GM. Now, Zach Taylor, in my opinion, still has made a ton of mistakes. But I think the Bengals will still give him another shot. If I'm being real, I don't know why they would, but I could see that happening. And then same with Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin, just because they've been there so long, I could see him being faithful to him. Like, hey, we'll give you 1 more year. We know he had a bad year, but we'll give you 1 more. But Stefanski's got to go, man. He's got to go. Like, I mean,
Like
I don't know who else.
yesterday.
Yeah, like he should have. Whenever Shedeur whenever he was your emergency quarterback at the start of the year, and then now watching him play, he should have went as soon as he won his first game. Like you probably should have just been like, go ahead and hit the door. It's all right. I don't know.
He probably
That's my
should have started his game one.
Yeah, he's clearly their best quarterback.
Yes. Oh yeah.
I'm not sitting here saying the record's much different, but I mean, you could have like a 5, maybe 6 wins right
Couple
now,
more, yeah.
and then you're actually
in that
in that
division.
division race right now.
Exactly.
So yeah, I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's basically all I had. I mean, personally, I think 3 of them should go at least, but I think they'll only end up firing 1 would be my guess, just because they're faithful to the guys, man.
Damn, I was going to say for sure Zach Taylor, but then you mentioned how embarrassing of an organization that Bengals are. I mentioned it last night or a night ago on my live that the Bengals might be the worst ran organization in football.
Yep.
They've let so much talent go and have refused to pay some really good players for no reason at all. I think it was when the year they let Jesse Bates go, they were talking about how they messed up waiting to pay these players. They wait too long, and then their price tag goes up. If you re-signed them when you should have, you would have been easily able to keep all the pieces you let go. Yep. So now I'm 50-50 on Zach Taylor being gone because you're not wrong. They are the worst ran organization from a front office perspective.
Yes.
So that they are. So Stefanski for sure is gone. If he's not gone, I think Cleveland and the Dog Pound may actually burn some houses down because at this point it's excessive. It was already excessive this year. If you go another year with it, I'm afraid of what will happen to the city of Cleveland. I think Harbaugh's gone. Something is not right in Baltimore. I do still think he's a good coach, but I think my brother said it a couple times. Coaches are no different than players. Sometimes you just need a fresh face, new place, something type deal. They've gone too long with honestly not success. I mean, you keep losing in the playoffs before even get to championship rounds. And now the wheels have kind of fallen off. So I think of an answer is for sure 1.5 coaches.
Yeah.
Because the Bengals, who knows? I don't think they know what they're doing. Harbaugh, I think, has got to go. And honestly, I think Tomlin's tradable, but I don't think they will. I think if he pulls out a division title here, I think they'll give him another year to kind of see where they go. But it's a bad division. It does have a couple coaches who are good, but aren't quite good enough or doing well enough. So I think you titled that perfectly with the Hot Mess Express. Because the Browns and Bengals right now are embarrassing just in general. And then obviously Ravens and Steelers aren't exactly riding home about anything. So rough division to be a fan, or rough year to be a fan of that division.
Matt, did you have anything else before we move on?
Yeah, I just wanted to say too, to Austin's point on the Bengals, that whole, and not even just from the coaching standpoint, from a GM, I think Caleb, you brought it up too. You threw all your money at Jamar Chase. Then you wait to throw all your other money from the other pocket at T. Higgins. Mm-hmm. How are you functioning right now with all the money you just gave these guys? I get they're superstars and yeah, they should get paid, but how are you paying your other players? How are you paying Hendrickson? Who's again one of the best pass rushers in the game and in that division. What are you running on? What are you doing? Do you have an OnlyFans somewhere that's funding this team? How are you still functioning at this point? Who's managing your finances? So that's my spiel on it. But yeah,
way too disproportional.
Well, they wait too long to offer these contracts. If they paid Jamar Chase and T. Higgins ahead of schedule like most teams do, you're saving roughly $10 to $20 million annually against your cap space. So now you're waiting too long and overpaying, and it's costing you other good pieces.
Jerry Jones effect.
It honestly, yeah, it is.
And I'm gonna skip the next one. We'll put that on our pregame show next week. But I do want to talk on Phillip Rivers real quick.
Grandpa.
I'm just gonna ask one question, and I want just a one-word answer. Is Phillip Rivers gonna win a game this season? Caleb.
Yes.
Matt.
No.
I want so badly to say no, but damn it, I hope he does. Yes.
That was like 17 words.
I know.
So, all right.
Is he?
I don't think so. Yeah, no.
That was like.
I was going to say.
Well, I was top it off, but I wasn't planning on answering it myself. I was just going to let it be in suspense. So, real quick, we'll kind of go through some of these comments real quick. Yes, let's go Broncos. Yeah, I think if Harbaugh can survive in Baltimore, then Tomlin can remain a coach of the Steelers. So that was a pretty good point. They're the longest tenured guys over there. So again, I just there's no harm in moving on from those guys. But I do want to talk on something real quick. So Sunday for our pregame show, we're going to introduce a new sponsor. We have introduced our new sponsor here tonight. Caleb will talk to you guys about rival codes. We're going to have a new segment on our pregame show. It's going to be the Rival Codes Rivalry Game of the Week. How do you guys like? Does that have a ring to it?
I like it. Yeah.
I like it.
I'm a big fan.
Hell yeah. So this week it's going to be the Bills.
17 words.
Yeah. He's on his word count. The little countdown up in the corner or something. But this week it's going to be the Bills and Patriots. So each week we're going to have a rivalry game that we're going to kind of, circle. And obviously this weekend's a big game for the Bills and Patriots. So do you guys have any thoughts on our new segment and kind of where you guys are hoping to see with it? I think one of you guys will take the lead on creating an awesome graphic for it. So I'll let you guys rock, paper, scissors for it right now.
No, we'll let Caleb go. No.
I mean, yeah. I was gonna say I'll let Caleb go. I mean, he landed the sponsor. He worked out the deal with them. So by all means,
can be his baby.
All right.
Yeah, it can be your baby.
And it could also end up being one of those where we may get into next season with these guys. Hopefully they like what we're doing. And hopefully, maybe next season it can be one of those where maybe we pick 2 or 3 rivalry games, we create something, and then we tell you guys vote for it here and vote for the rivalry of the week, and then we kind of talk on it. But since we're getting so close towards the end of the season, we're gonna go ahead and talk about this Bills Patriots game on Sunday. So let's kind of wrap it up. The AFC West Player of the Week nominees, again, we'll each pick a nominee, and it's an AFC West player. It doesn't have to be from your team unless you have one from your team. And then we'll create the graphic for it. You guys can vote for it on our Instagram, on our X, and kind of go from there. So first place, Matt, go first.
Give me RJ Harvey.
Love it. Caleb?
I'm going to go unconventional. Cameron Dicker. Dicker
the
kicker.
The old big Dicker.
I'm not picking one from the Chiefs. So I'm going to go for the favorite thing I saw over the weekend. It was a block that Garrett Bowles had. It made me so happy. So my player of the week is going to be Garrett Bowles.
And I'm going Nick Bonito, and we'll get Cody's game. We'll get Cody's player of the week. Probably
Kenny Pickett.
Either Kenny Pickett or Max Crosby, I'm sure. So we'll kind of go from there. Guys, it's been fun tonight. Does anyone kind of have any last thoughts as we kind of wrap up here? Matt, I'll give you the floor first.
No, again, just thank you to the new followers. You guys were live in the chat. I think he was in there. Chris, he was very interactive in the live I did before we got on the show. So Chris, thanks for joining. Thanks for subscribing to the channel as well. And again, all the new followers, all the new subscribers, hope you guys enjoyed what you saw tonight.
Caleb?
Don't really have much, man. I'm excited for what's coming and what we currently have. Super excited.
All right, all of you.
Not me.
We know it's a trigger for Matt, so everyone in the comments, if you feel like just juggling some, just...
I swear I will shave all of your eyebrow hair off.
You can't tell me how Caleb started that answer, though. Didn't really remind you of Ned Flanders.
It did.
You're right.
The 6'7" diddly. Now I'm doing it.
Right. I just want to, kind of what Matt said. Thank everyone for joining in. We have been doing some lives on TikTok lately. So if you want to hop over there and follow follow at least the West War Room Rivals. We've been doing some lives, trying to have some more interaction with y'all, but make sure you like and follow us on socials. Subscribe to the YouTube because we are about a week or two out from doing our big Christmas giveaway. You can kind of see it over my other shoulder, partial. The thing is massive. That's what we'll be giving away. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube and just let us know you did it. That way we make sure you get entered in for a chance to win it. And that's all you have to do. Subscribe to YouTube. Let us know. It's that easy. Other than that, thank you everyone who hopped in, commented, follows. It's why we do it. Make sure you see some of our posts throughout the week. Leave some questions, comments, something you may want us to address on one of our shows. We do that here and there. Some of our questions come from you guys, and we hope to address it. So we want to see more of that. Other than that, Corey, I think you're good to take us home.
Did we pick a dog of the week this week, or is that later this week?
It's the fan vote or the player of the week vote.
Oh, that's right. I was curious on that because I was like,
last week was Vidal.
That's right. And then the first one we did was Cream Hunt.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, Cody will be back with us this weekend. We do have a guest tomorrow, Michael Barrett, former Cubs pick catcher, going to come on and talk a little. He was like an MMA fighter essentially. He punched AJ Przinsky square in the face, just
kind of cool.
right to the chops. So I encourage you guys to go watch the video. Go watch the video clip of that one before he comes on here tomorrow. And then we'll talk a little football with him, get an outsider's perspective. Maybe we'll get a little celebrity guest pick out of him for some games. So, again, thank you all for tuning in tonight. We know we missed Cody tonight, and he's got a big day tomorrow. So everyone wish Cody good luck and his big grand opening of their hotel. And we will get you guys back in here tomorrow night. I got to do sponsor shout outs. Holy shiz.
Ooh, we almost forgot to pay the bills.
Oh, man. Almost forgot.
Yeah.
Dad would have been so mad at Matt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So let's start off with some of our affiliates. Beard Club. Thank you to Beard Club for help shaping Austin's weird beard. And then Shank It Golf for all the cool golfing gear. And then Badger Barrel, Matt.
In a world of butterflies, be a badger.
I meant to wear that shirt tonight, but I was obviously in too much of a good mood to, not wear Broncos shirts. So thanks to those guys. And then to our sponsors, again, our new one, Rival Codes. Thanks to those guys. Can't wait to see what the future holds with them. Troy, Day One, Kansas Field Ops, Angie, her team, Emporia State Federal Credit Union, Showix Banking of Choice, War Rooms Banking of Choice now. And then we're in the JBW Solution Studio, so thank you to Jeff and those guys for all the cool merch and the hats. And they obviously sponsor the studio, which is over in the other corner. Caleb keeps pointing to the wrong side.
Yeah, you keep going to the wrong spot.
You're on the wrong side.
Other hand.
On my side, it's right.
There. Yeah, right there. So
right.
Again, guys, thank you again to all of our sponsors. Thank you guys for continuing to support our channel. And now with that, we will see you guys tomorrow night.